Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. My name is Joseph Sangle, and I'm the host, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Megan Hibbard. Are you fired up for this episode?
I am. Happy Labor Day.
Yeah, it's Labor Day, and we release on Mondays. We're working on this Labor Day, actually. Newsflash, we record a little bit early so we could also enjoy time with our family. But hopefully you're listening to this maybe on your day off. And what a year it's been. You've been laboring in weird and unusual times.
Yes.
And we are excited to announce that this is episode number
114.
114. We've celebrated 100, seems like almost yesterday. And now we got 14 episodes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
And so today we are wrapping up the first week of September. We're 2/3 of the way through the most chaotic year we have ever experienced.
I think we're all ready for
Lord.
New Year's in 2021.
I hope, and we hope, the consistency of the Monday Money Tip Podcast has at least been one bright moment this year for you. And so today we're going to talk about a unique topic called opportunity cost.
Yes.
That's kind of an economic term. So that people don't feel fearful that they're in an economics class.
Yes.
Help them understand what we're talking about today.
All right, buckle up. Here we go. So the question is, I need your help with something. I seem to have a weird problem, which don't we all? Let me try to explain it to you. I save for money in an item I would like to purchase, but then once I have saved for the money for it, it's hard for me to spend the money. Did I write this question? Because this is me to a T.
Megan has emailed
Yes,
the
I
Monday
have
Money
emailed
Tip
him.
Podcast.
I think about all the other things I could use the money for, and it sort of paralyzes me. So I end up not buying the thing I have worked so hard to save for. This hasn't just happened once. It has happened at least a dozen times through the years. Does this make sense to you? What's wrong with me?
Yeah, I like it. An exclamation point. What is wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. This is a human behavior issue, and we're going to address it in today's Monday Money Tip Podcast. But before we do that, let's talk about the featured resource for this month.
So this month, our featured resource is the Savings Challenge. So chances are pretty high that you're wasting money each and every month. You probably already know it, and you probably feel it. So let's take care of it this month. The Savings Challenge will show you ways to save money so you can better fund your dreams. So if you want to save money in your budget now and put more money in your dreams pocket, sign up today. Just go to iwbnin.com/help, and it's only $14.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. $14. And if you don't save $14 by employing those tips, we'll give you your money back. Just email us. I'm confident. Most people write in and they believe they saved at least $1,000 a year. So that'd be a worthwhile investment, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's that most beloved time at the outset of most podcasts where we go to that special, awesome current money events section. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is sponsored by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. Our saving and investing tools are designed to help make you make more informed decisions. Whether you're wanting to know what your investment strategy will produce for you by retirement age, or determining how much you should save from each paycheck for your known, upcoming, non-monthly expenses like Christmas, vacation, and car repairs, you'll find the calculator you need at iwasbrokenowimnot.com. Just click on Tools and then select Saving and Investing.
Yes. And so we're going to talk about the current money events topic. I'm going to talk about kind of coronavirus stuff. And so I wanted to just share some stuff from an article I found from McKinsey.com. It's a very interesting article. And I highlighted some lines that I read in this article. And the first one is they were kind of doing this thing of what's happening to the economy, and they kind of do reports on the overall economy. And I found, I've got about 10 things that I wanted to point out. I don't know if I'll get through all of them, but I'll try.
Sure.
Sound good?
Let's try.
One of the things that really stood out is this line that they said, financial decision makers feel their country economies and personal finances are weak, but sentiment has risen since May. So this is a worldwide study. So I think it's over 140 countries. They do these surveys. Pretty amazing. And it's uncanny because usually we do not have worldwide impact on things. This is worldwide impact.
Yeah.
That financial decision makers, doesn't matter the currency they're looking at, they feel that their country's economies and their personal finances are weak. That's a bad combo. But sentiment has improved since May. Number 2 item is that each month, more consumers expect the impact of COVID-19 on the economy will last a year or longer.
Ooh.
Put me in that category.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to last longer than a year. I mean, we're already 6.5, 7 months into this thing. Unbelievable. In the United States. It was already earlier, in Europe, and then before that in China. Unbelievable. How long do you think, listener, this stuff is going to last? It's unbelievable.
It's crazy to think about.
It's amazing. I mean, we've talked about this in the office. When it first hit, we travel a lot for what we do. And we thought, okay, literally, we thought 1 month from now, we'll be back traveling. And then it was like, nah, well, maybe it's another month. Then it's like, you know what? I think it's going to be like through the summer.
Yeah.
Now it's like, hey, I think it's till next summer. Who knows? Number 4, job security concerns remain high. And it should. And over half of people concerned about their jobs also have less than 4 months of savings. That's sad. That's why we're here for you guys at the Monday Money Tip Podcast. And number 5, respondents continue to report reduced income, savings, and spending. So they all go together. And 6 goes with it. Cash use has decreased while remote payments have increased. And we talk about this. When people use plastic, they don't feel the pain as much. So they generally spend more.
Yeah.
And so we see that people, this contactless purchasing.
Yeah. I've been to a couple stores too where they have signs where they won't give you cash back now because like a shortage.
A shortage of coins.
Yeah. Which is so interesting.
Yeah, because they shut down the Bureau of Engraving.
Yeah.
Crazy. Cause of coronavirus concerns. It affects our food. It affects our money. It affects everything. And number 7, missed loan payments and plans to change asset allocation vary wildly and widely by country with some patterns in high-income economies. So high-income economies, they have patterns because they're kind of moving their money around. Those who are in trouble, it's all over the map. And then other things that I saw is, I'll skip to number 9. In this stressed environment, what customers continue to want most from their banks is tangible support on credit terms. What does that mean? That means that they will work with them to adjust foreclosure periods, that they'll defer interest, defer payments, deferments over forbearance and over foreclosure. And one of the things that I would just say is coronavirus is going to have real and lasting effects on the economy and the way we manage money, manage decisions, financial decision making. And so I'll have a link to the article in the show notes for everybody, but I just found it very interesting. And I think I'm going to refer back to them. I think that their data was really good, and it really helps us understand the real and lasting changes, not just monetarily, but through the banking systems, the way that we handle cash, and the sort of thing. It matters a lot for us going forward with money management. And so check it out. And that's what we have to say today for current money events section.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, our success story today comes from Sasha, and Sasha said, I've been using your budgeting tools since you came to Cyprus, which is one of the church we visited, and she said maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I understand that. I feel like all the years blur together. I've even shared them with friends. Thank you so much for your wonderful resource. Every Thursday, I finalize my budget. You have been a blessing, and it has helped me to be more responsible in knowing where all of my money is going. I budget every 2 weeks, and friends would say my famous line is, yeah, that's not in my budget.
That's awesome. Way to go, Sasha. And, this is the reason why we love to hit the road. And as a little excitement to share is we are going to be offering online events. And there's a small fee to attend them. But our passion is to go serve people. And, usually we've been able to do events free online. But, there are financial realities, and usually we're able to offer stuff for free because we're able to travel a lot. We're not able to travel, so we're going to charge a small nominal fee, but we're actually going to be able to try and bring new content.
Yeah.
And so that's really exciting. So Sasha, congratulations using the budget tool, 2 to 3 years. Imagine what your life's going to look like in 10 years of doing that. You're going to be able to manage different amounts of money and in different places. So way to go. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing the word with your friends too. That's awesome.
Awesome. Okay, for our success story just our success story for our, welcome to Monday. Okay, so for our question for today, just to remind you guys, it says, I need your help with something. I seem to have a weird problem. Let me try to explain it to you. I save money for an item I would like to purchase, but then once I have saved that money for it, it's hard for me to spend the money. I think about all the other things I could use the money for, and it sort of paralyzes me. So I end up not buying the thing I have worked so hard to save for. This hasn't happened just once. It has happened at least a dozen times throughout the years. Does this make sense? And what's wrong with me?
That's awesome. And as I said on the outset, this is actually, this whole summary paragraph is a wonderful description of an economic principle called opportunity cost. So as you're driving your car today, or you're hanging out with your family, you're at the pool, because I know that's exactly what people do when they listen to podcasts, they're in the pool. I want you to say the word opportunity cost. Just say it. You say
Opportunity cost.
That's great. So Megan is the one participant live here, but I heard everybody as you did this. Opportunity cost is exactly what it sounds like. You lose the opportunity to utilize or spend that money on something else. So once you spend it, it's gone. You can't use it for other things. Thus the term, an opportunity cost. And most people don't spend too much time thinking about this loss of the opportunity to utilize their money differently. Let's say it another way. They don't spend too much time thinking about it until, of course, they actually need that money for the other opportunity. And now they don't have it. Maybe you've done this before where you're like, man, I wish I wouldn't spend that money on that because I forgot I needed it for this. That's a description of opportunity cost. So Megan, let's have a little fun thinking through an example.
Yes.
Suppose you have $5,000 from a tax refund and some savings, and you've been saving up for some new furniture. What is the opportunity cost of you spending the $5,000 on new furniture? Like if you decide you're going to spend the $5,000, on new furniture, what is the opportunity cost? In other words, how else could you utilize the $5,000 besides spending it on the furniture?
I could think of a lot of things.
Let's list 2 or 3 things you would want to spend the money on.
Well, this is the problem.
She didn't get prepared for this.
I did not know. I am such a practical person. And so for me, my head automatically goes to groceries and diapers and
But that's already in your budget. This is $5,000. Of course, you lose opportunity to have this in case all income goes away and you can still eat.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what are the other things. Oh, maybe I should ask, what would Jordan want to spend it on?
Yeah, that's a better question. So one thing we've been wanting to buy is more like fun things for the boat. So we wanted to buy more like pool floats and more like tubes and that kind of stuff. So when we have people out with us, we can do that. We just moved into a house, and so we want to buy like fun things for the house. I want to buy like patio furniture.
Well, this is furniture. You're spending on furniture. So the opportunity cost of the furniture.
This could be other furniture.
Oh, okay.
I want to buy like 2 huge rugs, which are like ginormous and costly.
Rugs are not cheap.
They're not. It's just ridiculous.
You're hearing the practicality come out. This is so boring.
It is boring.
But I know there's many people listening who says, no, it's not boring, Joe. It's actually awesome. I'm talking about you could buy a 4-wheeler.
But where am I going to ride that?
You could buy a jet ski to go with the boat. You could buy,
come on,
a motorcycle. You could buy.
Okay. My fun thing would be a trip.
Okay.
So I really want to go to like Bora Bora or Fiji.
You might be able to get to Bora Bora with $5,000. That's awesome. Okay, let's stop right there. That's good. So in Megan's word, her opportunity cost of using the $5,000 on furniture is on other furniture or pool floats or 2 ginormous rugs or a trip to Bora Bora. So by spending the $5,000 on the furniture, you forego the ability to spend it on these other things. So the way to identify opportunity cost is how else could I use this money? And here is a key to think about. We're attracted to fun and enjoyable things like the boat that you and Jordan got, a new car, a new home, a new phone, furniture. It is less fun to spend money on necessary things like food or air conditioners or hot water heaters or a new roof or get excited, car tires or brakes. Is that stuff not exciting?
It's not.
It's necessary. I always like to say this is, in your high school yearbook when it says, what do you want to spend money on in 10 years or where do you see yourself in 10 years? No one writes down, man, I just want to have a brand new heat pump. Nobody says that, or a furnace. But in that moment when the furnace or the heat pump isn't working, suddenly you're like, I really would like to have this.
It's a necessity.
So I want each of our listeners to think about this. It's a question, okay? So So Megan, ask our listeners the big question.
Yes. So the question is, when was the last time you put some actual thought into how you're utilizing every dollar you plan to spend during a month?
Okay, so every dollar, every single one of them. When is the last time you actually thought about it? That it wasn't just, kind of zombie-like walking through it, just, it's just what I do. You're kind of in a trance almost. Like, when was the last time you really thought about how you're utilizing every single dollar you plan to spend during the month? Here are some good questions you can ask when you're doing that. Could I be utilizing this money in a better way? Am I realizing the maximum potential of these dollars? Those are two good questions, aren't they? Mm-hmm. And then the third one is a big one. What do I not know that I should know that would actually help me stretch our dollars further?
That's good.
We start out saying this episode, this month, the featured resource is the Savings Challenge.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we reveal things to people that they did not know, that they should know. And as a result, it helps them stretch their dollars further. Mm-hmm. That's something that I think is an important thing. You cannot ask this question seriously every month, but it is important to do this at least once a year where you really look at your spending and say, why is this in my budget? Is there other ways to accomplish this where I could eliminate this entirely? Let me give you an example. There was a moment about 6 years ago, my bride and I decided we're going to move to the country and we're going to build my wife's dream house, but I get to live on more than a patch of land. It's kind of acres of land. And so we were so excited, and we move out there, and we have this teenage daughter at the time. And you know what? We build this beautiful house. She gets this nice, beautiful room. It's awesome. But you know what? We had garbage internet. We had satellite internet. That was the only thing available. And my daughter was like, I would rather live in a tent with a sleeping bag with blazing fast internet than live in this house with terrible internet. And I know a lot of people listening are total agreement. In fact, I was in agreement. I had no idea that this place I live, everybody down the main drag street that's near me, maybe a quarter mile away, they get the blazing fast internet. I can't even get DSL. Horrible. And so we call AT&T. They say, oh, yeah, we'll install it. It'll cost you $20,000.
Oh, my gosh.
And we were like, $20,000? Because they're going to have to put it down the road. And, if they're going to put it in, they're going to put it in for the whole road. And I'm like, not it. I'm not paying that.
I'm not paying for that.
So I get the satellite, and they allowed us 12 gigabytes a month of high-speed service. Well, anybody who has a teenager in the house, they know you can tell them all you want. Do not stream. Do not do YouTube. Do not do any of this stuff, this garbage. It was gone within 1 day every month. Well, after that, they put you in the chokehold. The only time you can have high-speed internet is from midnight to 5 a.m.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, it's fine for the teenager. Terrible for the adults in the house.
Everybody else.
And so I was like, what do I not know that I should know? And all of a sudden, I realized I saw a van out in the front and a trencher, and they were putting this wire down the road. And somehow, one of my neighbors knew someone who knew someone who knew someone at AT&T. And I went down to ask him and said, what are you doing there? Like, hey, we're installing internet down to this little dinky house down the road. I'm like, you are? And so I called, and for free, with a gift card, and they trenched it 350 feet up my property to my house, and gave me the gift card. And my internet cost went from $70 a month. That was garbage. And anybody has satellite, hey, look, it's great if you don't have a teenager in the house and all that stuff. I will not say it's great. It's kind of okay. It's garbage if you have a teenager. And I want all satellite companies to know that.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, I got DSL, and I've never been more excited. My daughter thought it was the greatest Christmas present ever. But I didn't know it. And so that's a good question to ask, is what do you not know that you should know that would help you stretch your dollars further? Show everybody the second key that we wanted to share today.
Yes. So our second key is this stuff actually applies to other valuable things like how to spend your time.
Yeah. We talk a lot about money on the podcast because it is the Monday Money Tip podcast. So we tend to talk a lot about money.
On Mondays.
But we could call it the Monday Time podcast. The Monday Time Tip.
Or just the Monday
podcast.
Tip. The Monday
Tip. The Monday Time Tip. MTT. Anyhow, we'll work on that later. But the fact is, the most valuable commodity we all have is time. You can't get it back. So you can go get more money, can't go get more time. And so how you spend your time, what is the opportunity cost of you spending your time on this thing? You know, right now you're spending time listening to the Monday Money Tip podcast. What is the opportunity cost that you give up for spending time on this? What else could you do? And if it's more important, then go do that. But I strongly encourage you to think about that as well, because our goal today really is to help you, our favorite loyal listeners of the Monday Money Tip podcast, to truly think through how you're utilizing your money that comes your way, and that you will actually consider alternate ways that you could deploy those resources. And here's the big key: before you actually spend the money. And for the person who's asking our featured question today, to help you go ahead and execute the decision you've already analyzed and know to be the best. And so to finally answer the question that was asked, how do I actually pull the trigger on the purchase that I've saved up for, I've thought through, I know it's the right thing? I would encourage you to write down all of the good things you could do with the money, write down the best thing, and then go spend the money. I call it breaking up with the money. You just got to break up with it. Just consider what I spent, break up with the money, make the purchase. Buyer's remorse is what you're talking about. You're fearful of buyer's remorse. I would just say you've done all of the homework. It'll be very rare, if ever, that you feel buyer's remorse. Make the purchase. You've already planned it, and enjoy it.
Yeah, we saved up for the boat for a long time, obviously, so that we could pay cash for it.
So when you say a long time, was that weeks, months, years?
Years.
That's really good for everybody here.
Yeah, I mean,
Years.
It wasn't like an instant thing. It had the name of it morphed, but it started out as like, this is where we put all our bonuses. And I think in the back of Jordan's mind, it was always boat fund, but I hadn't quite gotten there yet. But when I did, it changed to boat fund, and we started saving for that and putting money aside. And then there was that moment where it's like, oh my gosh, we could invest this money and it could be this in 10 years. But then there was also this moment where it was like, no, this is what we've saved for. This is what we want to do with this money. We want to be able to have memories with our family. We want to be able to have memories with our friends and other people, and like our parents and siblings be able to come down and hang out on the boat, and all the memories we're going to have. And so it was that moment for us too of like, oh gosh, we've saved up. Now we have to pull the trigger. And we did. And we had that one day, afterwards where you spend the money and you're like, oh gosh, did we do the right thing? But you took the boat out for the first time or the 10th time or the 20th time. And now we're like, this was the best decision ever.
Yeah.
And it was great.
The cost per use goes down.
Yeah.
Every time you use it, the cost per use goes down. So the first time you use it, the cost per use is the purchase price divided by one use.
Yes.
Like that's expensive boat ride.
Yes.
Man, the second ride, it's went in half.
Yeah.
And so that's what I call cost per use. I also use this with my golf game. It's the dollars per stroke that I swing, and I've really lowered the cost per swing.
Yeah.
So we have a quote for today.
Yes, our quote today is, the opportunity cost of an unlived dream is not only that dream, but also the dream was meant to inspire. Wow.
It's from Ryan Lilly.
Lilly. Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to repeat it. The opportunity cost of an unlived dream is not only that dream, but also the dreams that dream was meant to inspire. It's kind of that thing of you have the boat that can inspire the next dreams. Mm-hmm. And so without the achievement of that dream, you can't fulfill the next dream. And so that's really important. So we really want you to think about, is this the best use of the money, the next best alternative use of the money, and make sure you know for sure that every dollar you're spending is maximized for your dreams and for your life.
Yes. All right. Our next episode, we're going to talk about, it's such an interesting topic. The topic and the title of the episode is Your Coffee is Worth $1 Million.
I totally agree.
That doesn't get you, I don't know what will. So it's that simple. We're going to show you how coffee, which I love, and you would agree is the greatest beverage in the world. You would say behind Coca-Cola, but I don't know if I agree with that.
What? Coca-Cola is the greatest beverage in the world.
But how it is worth $1 million. So be sure to tune in next week. We'll probably even discuss who makes the best coffee. And you think you might be right, but I'll be right.
I will be right. And it's going to be fun. Hey, if you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to others who can benefit. You can do this by quickly rating our podcast, leaving a review. If you're watching on YouTube, click the little bell. You'll be notified every time a new episode is posted each and every Monday. And then please, 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 will you do this? Just comment. What was the one thing that impacted you the most? What is the one thing you disagree with the most? If you give us a thumbs up or give us a thumbs down and comment. whatever it is, we want to be able to do that and help you get us some exposure to your friends, your family, and other people on YouTube where they can discover it. And, whether you like it or you don't like it, just tell us why. We can't wait to hear it, and we want to make it better. If you've implemented one of our tips, share your success stories with us by emailing it to info@iwbnin.com or sharing it with us on many of our social media platforms. And as we close out today, I really want to encourage every single one of you. There is an opportunity cost for every dollar you'll spend today. Make sure the way you spend it is the best way. Have a great day and happy Monday.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.